Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you'll love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This could be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. This is a general read. This is not a personal read. If you like a personal read, check out the description below, and I'll be happy to assist you with doing so. Remember that tarot is a tool. It is not the final rule. And it's a good idea to have an empty cup when you are on Lady Noble's channel and you really want to see what's up, okay? All are welcome on this channel. All contributions are highly appreciated, okay? Today we have the divination board out today, and we're going to do a one question, one answer. But before we tap into the divination, before we tap into the divination board, we're going to do 2 deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and hold for 3 seconds and release, okay? So let's do our 2 deep breaths. Breathe in, release. Breathe in, release. Okay, I'll give you a moment to think of the question that you would like to ask. Mm-hmm. Okay, and now we'll begin to swing the pendulum. Okay, collective, the consistency that I am getting here is January, August, Leo, Aquarius, Monday, Thursday, okay? And try again. The consistency that I'm getting here is January, August, Leo, Aquarius, Monday, Thursday, and try again. So take those answers in account according to the question that you asked, okay? Let's tap into the tarot here. Move my petite friend over into the camera. My petite friend has been eating their vegetables and working out. Okay. All right. We have number 12. We have number 12 here, an awakening. Pause, perspective, and selflessness. Number 12, an awakening, collective. So this card is clearly conveying that you could be experiencing some form of an awakening. You could be experiencing some kind of changes that are taking place in your life. Okay, personally, privately, emotionally, spiritually. This could be in your home, in a relationship, on your job. But Spirit is confirming that you are experiencing an awakening. And there's a need for you to take accountability to just simply pause for a moment whenever you feel that you are experiencing some form of discomfort or dis-ease, or you're feeling like things are out of the norm, but you just can't quite put your hand on it. That kind of energy. You know, the kind of energy where you say, you know what, things are just weird and I don't know what it is. Well, Spirit is saying that you are closing out some old cycles and you're being prepared to embark on a whole new spiritual path, a whole new journey. So as this angel here is upside down, I'm seeing things being like thrown, like a person sitting around a pile of items and like getting rid of all the things that he or she doesn't want and throwing them over their shoulder. Like, I don't want this one. I don't want that. You got to go and you got to go. But it's positive energy. It's not negative, but it's aggressively positive. So I'm seeing a person kneeling on the floor with a pile of items, and they're getting rid of stuff they don't want and they're throwing them over their shoulder. And so Spirit is basically saying there are some cycles that you are closing out in your life. This could be with people, friends, relatives. This could be a way of thinking, okay? The way you think about yourself, the way you think about others, the way you judge others, how you receive different energy and projection from people around you. That's for somebody, okay? So take the reading where it resonates, okay? All of the reading may not resonate with you, but how you perceive when you are having conversations or you are interacting with people in general. So you are closing out cycles. You could be finding better ways to not become so swiftly upset or feel insulted when you hear people speaking or you hear someone talking about something that you feel that is triggering you. Spirit is saying if you're someone who feel triggered when you hear particular topics being spoke on, especially by people who don't know you, that is a spiritual nudge for you to address what is going on within you. Once again, Spirit is saying if you are someone collective who feel triggered when people are speaking on things and topics, and you feel bothered, and these people don't even know you, that is a spiritual nudge for you to address what's going on within you, within yourself. It is just a signal that this is something that needs to be surrendered. This is something that needs to be healed. Okay. There is no need, Spirit is saying, to continuously ignore the work that needs to be done. Because with the awakening here, we're speaking of closing out cycles. And the best way to close out a cycle is accept the judgment that is partaking in your life. You may find yourself in different relationships. Well, not all. This could be romantically, this could be your marriage, someone you're dating, a live-in spouse, a friendship, a coworker, a BFF, a family member, a sibling, a cousin, okay? Maybe you are finding that lately you and this person may spat a lot. There may be a lot of friction in the connection. And Spirit is saying it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's time for you to I wouldn't say several ties, but not wear out your welcome, not be decrease your ability to be around this person. It's time for you to move on. Doesn't mean you have to separate yourself from this person and have some kind of hatred or anger, but it's just time for you to move on. People outgrow each other. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Spirit. People outgrow each other in connections, and this is something that is natural and it happens. Even when people are married and the marriage is pushed to the point of a divorce or separation, people often internalize that as something negative, when actuality, it's natural. It's natural, not always and not for everyone, but it's natural that sometimes people outgrow each other. I speak on it all the time about how your desires will change as you move forward on your path. Doesn't matter who you are, your desires will change, and that's normal. So we can't become upset or, it's not a good idea to inflict stagnation on yourself, because you're only hurting yourself when you refuse to do the work. You're only hurting yourself when you choose to have a negative mindset. You're only hurting yourself when you refuse to do the healing. Okay. You cannot create a ripple effect in someone else's life because you are refusing to do the work on yourself. Because at the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, you are with you. When you perish from planet Earth, transition, you will be with you. And so the best thing you can do is work on self-investment. And if you are experiencing the energy of a awakening, or you feel like, hey, is this a spiritual awakening? Why are my relationships seeming to be a little quirky? Why does it seems like I'm not getting along with so and so? Maybe you've just simply outgrown that person. Maybe this could be a best friend that you've known for a long time, and you gather with them on a regular basis and you have a wonderful time, but all of a sudden you're bored. You don't like what you and this friend do. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with them. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It simply means it's time for you to move on to something else or someone else. Okay. So Spirit is saying, don't get it twisted. There's a lot of people getting things twisted and upside down, but it's all about your perspective. Like it says, pause, perspective, and selflessness. Okay. So it's a good time to pour into you. It's a good time to be honest with yourself. Only you know what is bothering you. Only you know what is nagging you in your life. If you have insecurities, this is a good time to work on that and build your confidence. This is a good time to just acknowledge what needs to be changed or addressed and begin to work on it in whatever way is best for you. Okay? All right. And so the first card we have here is the Eight of Wands. And with the Eight of Wands, this energy here is speed and excitement. This is action energy here. And so that's what we're speaking of, taking action in your life, not being in denial that there are changes that need to be made. As I just stated, we all have free will. We are adults. We can do whatever we please. No one can ever tell you what to do, just like no one can tell you how to feel. But once again, you're stuck with your own feelings. You have to deal with yourself, look at yourself in the mirror. So, Spirit is saying, when you are receiving the spiritual nudge through signs of synchronicities, or like I was just speaking of, if you feel triggered, it's just a spiritual nudge. It's like a tap on the shoulder. Hey there, that's something that needs to be addressed. Be aware that you're only hurting yourself the more you refuse to acknowledge what needs to be done. And when I say what needs to be done, that means if it's something that is bothering you, it's up to you to choose to address it. Now, addressing any pain, addressing turmoil does not mean being confrontational, does not mean maybe spatting or shouting or screaming at someone, because that won't help you. That'll just keep you in the same position that you're in. And so Spirit is saying basically choose to bet on yourself. There's nothing greater and better and most beautiful than you could do at any time in your life than to work on self-investment. Give yourself all that you need so that you can grow and you can progress. If you need counseling, that is something you should seek. If you need to talk to someone, that is something you need to seek. If you need to do some releasing, maybe you want to get into some meditation, some prayer, maybe you want to talk to a life coach, a therapist, whatever it is, that is something for you to seek in your own timing. And so Spirit is saying, don't punish yourself. Don't punish yourself, because the longer you refuse to do the work on surrendering the pain and the hurt that you are carrying, you are only inflicting self-stagnation on your path and in your life. Often people assume that they can say something. We know words are powerful, but people assume that they can say something that's impactful. Yeah, they can. Okay. Or people assume they can take an action that's impactful. Yeah, they can. But still, at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, if you're able to look in the mirror, because many people have a problem staring at their reflection. And I'm not speaking of aesthetics, whether you're handsome or beautiful. There are many people who can't stare in the mirror for long periods of time, and speak to themselves or look at themselves and simply say, what is it that I need to work on? So you cannot create a ripple effect in anyone's life outside of you. You will only continuously, increasingly create, I'll repeat, self-inflicted stagnation, pain, anger, and consistent resentment within yourself. So Spirit is saying choose to do the healing work, because there is an awakening that is awaiting you. There's a new path. There's a new journey that is awaiting you. But it calls for you to take action in your own life. Now, no, this is not a read where I'm telling you what you want to hear for likes and clicks and clout. This, on this channel, I'm delivering the message that is supposed to be conveyed. And clearly, they won't even let me pick up another card until they tell me to. But there's a serious need for a portion of people, to take action in their own lives. And like I said, only you know what that is. No one can tell you. It's between you and the divine. But if there's something that you feel that is weighing you down, or it's in your way, or it's that, I can't stand feeling, Spirit is saying take action so that you can prepare to go on this new journey. There's a lot of beauty and bliss that awaits you, collective. Okay. If this is a relationship, take action. See if your partner wants to go to counseling. See if your partner wants to continue the connection. If not, take action. Whatever is in the cards or whatever is best for you. Okay. Because it's all about maintaining your balance and your stability. Everything in life that we deal with is about balance. That's why they say do things in moderation. You don't want to be over excessive. You don't want to do it too little. You don't want to do it too much, but in moderation. That means balance. And so, in order for you to maintain your stability, maintain your life, your existence, you have to make sure that things are well balanced, and you want to make sure that you're emotionally balanced as well. And from time to time, we have to check ourselves. Nobody is perfect. Everybody got something they dealing with. I don't care who you are, that's getting on their nerve, that they don't like, that they're uncomfortable with. Everybody, it does not matter. But Spirit is saying when you feel you need to check yourself, check yourself. When you feel yourself going into that stinking thinking mindset, pull yourself back. Check yourself. When you feel yourself, maybe you're absorbing too much negative energy, then it's time to do some grounding, recalibration. Check yourself. That's what Spirit is saying. Life is not perfect, but be willing to check yourself. Correct what needs to be corrected. If it means removing certain people out of your life, not all the time, but sometimes, not all the time, collective, but sometimes it may require you getting rid of some people, okay? Or it may require, not all the time, but sometimes you relocating maybe to a different job or a different neighborhood. It's different for everyone. So take the bits and pieces where they resonate, but only where. And Spirit is saying, whomever is watching this video, what's bothering you and what is it that you would like to change in your life. You do have a say so. You do have the power, and you are in full control to take action, to apply yourself, to make those changes happen, to be in assistance. As they say, prayer without works is what? It's dead. So it's a whole different. It's quite odd to pray for something, manifest, petition, all these things, visualization, but you don't want to put no action behind it. You have to put action behind it. You have to put action behind your prayer. You have to put action behind your manifestations. This is what Spirit is saying. You have to put action behind it. And it looks like someone has been praying and manifesting, and Spirit is clearly saying it's here already. We just want you to take action. It's here. It's here. We want you to take action. And that action may mean for you to get rid of some people, places, and things. And ouch, there's some people who don't want to hear that. So back to free will. You can do whatever you please. But remember, there's a repercussion that comes with that. And that's that self-inflicted stagnation. So, and as I said, there's a lot of bliss and a lot of positive, things awaiting you the moment that you take action in your life. And it doesn't have to be all of those things that I named. It could be one simple thing. It could be you just simply changing how you feel about yourself, how you speak to yourself, how you speak to your children. It could be something very simple. It could be something as simple as maybe you're late everywhere you go. You have a problem with timing. Okay, maybe you're someone who don't know how to prioritize or stay on schedule. It could be that you need to correct that because you've been trying to manifest a particular job or career. But the job you're manifesting, they demand for you to have good attendance and be on time. So maybe Spirit wants you to take action towards making sure you prepare your clothes or whatever a night ahead. Make sure you get proper rest at night because you've been praying and manifesting this job for your application, your resume to be pulled. But Spirit is saying, wait a minute, it's here. I can give it to the collective, but they always waking up late like they are on their current job. They can't do that on this new job, but the position is here. So the moment the collective show me, they're going to be more responsible, get their sleep at night. If it's anything that need to be prepared, whether it's your hair, ladies, or your clothes, that's going to be laid out. If you got children, that's going to be taken care of so they can be on time for work. Maybe you have a habit, it's something you can't help of just being late. Maybe people even know you in the family group or your friends probably know, oh, they coming, but they coming late. This is what the collective do. The Spirit is saying that job position is open and is here. but we just want to see you take action. Show that you are willing to apply yourself to make the changes. Okay, whether it's buying you an alarm clock or setting an alarm on your phone, whatever it is. Okay, so it's not really that deep. It's different for everyone, but you know your story. But it could be something small, very minor, very minute. It doesn't have to be as big. Okay, don't think so hard. Don't think too long. You think wrong. Okay, that's for somebody, because there's somebody watching who have little bitty baby changes to make, or one little thing to change, and they're looking and listening to the read like it's something major, and it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's really not. Okay. And so this is all about, love, self-love, loving yourself, showing yourself love consistently. That will help you and assist you with maintaining your balance. And when you really truly love yourself, people can see it. This is the lover's card, but in this read, it conveys the love of self. Okay, not just your partner and loving other people, but the love of yourself. And people can tell when you love yourself, collective. People can tell, because I can tell when a person loves themselves. Okay, how you talk, how you walk, how you present yourself, how you communicate, how you delegate your affairs. This is not about being perfect, because there's no such thing. But people can tell when you care, when you have care and concern for who you are, your existence, and what you stand for. And so Spirit is saying taking action is just simply showing that you love yourself and that you care for your existence enough to be willing to make the change or changes that's necessary. And it doesn't have to happen overnight. This is not a race. This is not a race. It doesn't have to happen overnight. One thing at a time, one day at a time. Okay? So that you'll be in the position to gather with like-minded energy. With like-minded energy here, possibly you could also be someone whom has had, maybe the experience or reputation of, being the fun friend, the fun person. You like to turn up and have a good time, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Spirit is saying that possibly not for everyone, but for someone, possibly you've been hanging around the wrong people. You've been gathering with unlike energy, not like-minded energy. You've been gathering with unlike energy. People who are not on a mission of progress, and they don't have to be someone who's in approval of who you are or following what you're doing, like duplicating your lifestyle. They could just be working on progress in any area of their life, or have the perception of desiring as well as working towards progress. I'm picking up that someone has been gathering with unlike energy, people who are not interested in moving forward, people who feel they have nothing to live for. And that could be risky, collective, very risque, very risky. You do not want to consume your time and your space here on planet Earth with people who feel they have nothing to lose. They have no reason to be here. They have no oomph in them. We understand that people go through a lot of things, and we all heal different. We're different people. But to place yourself repetitively around groups of people who could care less about love, peace, or being mindful of their environment, places they go to hang out, that kind of thing, can be very risque. Different activities they partake in could be very risque. And we're not talking about smoking and drinking. I'm talking about beyond. So that's for someone in particular. Be mindful of whom you are choosing to be in your company. Be mindful of the company you keep, okay? That is something that needs to be taken action on. The company you keep, self-love, and not doing things excessively. That is three things that needs to be taken action on in order for you to go on this journey of an awakening, okay? And step into your power, your purpose, okay? And working on these things will assist you in mastering your own abilities, your own innate original abilities. Okay? And so Spirit is saying that we are here. With the Ace of Pentacles, we're here, we're gifting you new ideas and we're giving you clarity in your life. You got awakening out here and we have clarity out here. We're giving you clarity, we're giving you truth. You know, what more could a person ask for? We live in a world where there's so much confusion going on. There are a lot of people who are under an illusion about a lot of things in their life. We all become confused about different events and different experiences from time to time. But Spirit is saying we're gifting you an awakening. And with that awakening comes clarity and new ideas, any talents or skills that you have that you may have not been utilizing. The Spirit is saying that they are preparing you to show you how to utilize your gifts for your highest good. Okay. And I believe that we are all born with more than one gift. So only you know what your gifts are. That is that thing that they want to show you how you can utilize it for your highest good on your journey. But first, they want you to take action on these things that we are speaking on. Okay. And so the Ace of Swords here. Okay. Clarity, clarity, clarity again. So you've got clarity. You got them gifting you. The Ace of Pentacles here. They're giving you clarity, new ideas. And the Ace of Pentacles, it's not always money. It's not always money. It can be more than money. It can be money plus a bunch of other things. It could be information. I'm picking up information. You could be someone who's interested in something that you need more information on. Maybe you tried researching, but you have not been fortunate to find what you're looking for. Maybe you've had conversations with people and they're not able to help you because they're unfamiliar with whatever it is. This is also this Ace of Pentacles for somebody watching. There's something you've been looking for, some kind of information. Also giving you networking abilities. I'm picking up, if I'm saying that right, networking abilities, putting you in spaces and places of people who are connected to resources and information, to give you a sense of being more informative about your area of study or your hobby, something you want to build, something you want to create. You've been searching for that. And so the moment you take action, back again, the moment you take action, with this Eight of Wands here, that's when, you will be able to be given access to this awakening and receive these networking abilities. Okay. Self-love, being mindful of the company you keep, doing things with balance, with moderation. Okay. Receiving clarity as well. But this Ace of Pentacles could be networking abilities, finances, more harmony and cohesiveness in your relationships of people you deal with. Maybe you're working on a job that you love. You've been there for many of years, but maybe you don't like the energy that's presented on the job. Maybe you feel there's a lot of Peyton's place energy going on, okay? A lot of drama. And you're like, you know what? I like my job, but I just wish they quit. Spirit is going to show you, your spirit team has something to show you. But before these doors can be open to you, before you can be given access, there's some cleaning up they want you to do. They want you to tidy up. It's like preparation. You're preparing for someone to come visit your home and you're tidying up, you're cleaning and you're changing sheets and linen and you're putting the best china out. You're cooking a nice meal. The house smells good. It's clean. It's because you are being prepared to, I have to cover that up. She's new, to tap into your star player, which is you. You are the MVP at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. So clearly this read here is very clear and straight to the point. We did the divination and hopefully that assisted you as well in whatever questions that you asked. But this reading is clearly conveying for you to take action on what you feel in your life is blocking you, annoying you, or stressing you. And the moment you take action, that's when you will be given access to an awakening, okay? And that action, let's go through them again. Being mindful of the company you keep, the people you're gathering with, the people you're allowing into your life that can be very dangerous or risky. You never know what someone is associated with or connected to. When we turn our backs, we don't know what each other is doing. So they're just saying, be mindful. This is for someone in particular. There's someone you're dealing with, and they're connected to some things that could possibly have you getting caught in the crossfire. Okay. So you need to be mindful of the company that you keep. And also working on self-love. Okay, working on self-love, loving yourself so that you're able to reflect that energy and love the people around you, whether it's romantically, family, friends, etc. And being mindful of how you speak to yourself and how you think about yourself. And on this journey also, clarity, receiving clarity and truth. Okay, and knowing what direction to go in, not being indecisive, having a clear view of what's your next project, what's your next move, and being very confident in the decisions that you make, but also making sure that you do things in moderation, collective, not being overly excessive. Everything comes back to balance, okay? It comes back to balance, not staying on in those karmic cycles, those karmic relationships of, we've been together, we've been through so much. Okay, if you're saying you've been through so much, that's confirmation and that's a spiritual nudge that you've been on a karmic wheel more than one time in that one relationship. And so, like the hamster wheel, you're moving fast, but the hamster wheel is going nowhere. So you want to be mindful of those connections. That's for somebody that have me intervene. That is nothing to brag about. When you are saying we've been through so much, that's when you lace your Nikes up and you run for the hills. Air Max, preferably. And no, they're not paying me for promotion, but we love the Nikes. Yes, we do. And so we have here, the Ace of Pentacles here, okay? The Ace of Pentacles. And so that's money, that's networking abilities, a new job, showing you also, I mentioned, showing you how to create peace for yourself, showing you how to reside in the chaos, in the meantime, in between time, life will always be lifing. The world will always be doing their own thing, but what will the collective be doing to navigate through the chaos, through the toxic ish, through the storm? Spirit is saying there is an access door for you to go through to learn. And these things are given after you take action. These things are given on your awakening journey. Okay. So when you take action, these things will be added on to you, to learn how to keep the peace while the storm is swarming around you. There is a way to keep the peace. Okay, there's a way for you to be peaceful. When I say keep the peace, I'm talking about with yourself, not with people, but for you to know how to be still while the wind is whirling around you. Okay, while everyone is fussing and frustrated, you could be at peace in your mind as well as your heart, being in alignment and trusting in knowing who you are and where you are. And then you grow to the understanding with this awakening of what this path and journey of life truly is. This concludes the read. I trust and hope that it assists you for your highest good. Later.